but we have a tendency to forget that and to want to call attention to something that will satisfy people's thirst for gross and violent stimulant. Indeed, we are living in a time when people have an outrageous thirst for gross and violent stimulant. If you don't believe it, look at your ads of your movies and see how many of them are X or restricted. And look at much of your television. You'll see all kinds of violence. Why? Because we have that outrageous thirst for it, and no longer do the songs of the home, the fireside, the simple songs satisfy us. And so today, instead of the traditional songs of the home and the circle, the family circle, you have people sitting around the television watching Life Can Be Beautiful with John's Other Wife or some such program. And all day it goes on. So the real folk songs, of course, are almost a thing of the past. Now, so I became a folklorist, and I went away to college, and I studied and specialized in the field of folklore. And I've collected folklore of all kinds, and it doesn't mean just folk song. It means story, even the speech of the people. Don't look upon the speech of the people who live back in the country as illiterate. It's a traditional speech. Many of the words they use have come down orally for centuries. For example, would you understand me if I told you about a little scene? I was in a country store one day, and there's a young fellow, Bill was his name, and an old gentleman came in, and Bill says, "Howdy, Uncle Henry, how you been?" He said, "Right tolerable, Bill, right peared," he said, "right peared, how you been?" Well, it's for common. "How's Aunt Sherry?" "Well, I'll tell you, Bill, she's been a little dancy here lately." "Uncle Henry, I hear you aiming to build your barn. Where'd you aim to put it?" "I tell you, Bill, I'd leave her put it right for an the house, but every time I mention it, the old lady gets higher than the cat's back." Now, did you understand all of the words that I said? Indeed, some of them are used in Middle English, in Chaucer, and have come down. And many of the forms they use, the verb forms, they were once good. Heclamatory, well, that was a good form. So don't look upon these words as the language of an illiterate people, but the language of a people who have preserved their language in oral form for many centuries. The woman said, "I have some beautiful pineys out in the yard." Pineys, well, that was the old pronunciation. That was correct at one time. Not peonies, but pineys. And so there are many of these words that retain their old pronunciation.